Welcome to the AA Sports Podcast, minor league feel with major league discussion. Here are your hosts, Alan and Alan.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the AA Sports Podcast. We are your hosts, Alan and Alan, and this is episode number 25.
Quarter of 100.
Hey, we made it.
At least here in
At least now that we
10 days.
Right, we're going to actually have baseball to talk about.
Hell, there's going to be baseball. We kind of talk because I know at least Mets and Yankees have two scrimmage games this weekend.
All right.
So at least we're going to have some baseball. So we might as well get right into it with the 60-game schedule. So, of course, this all finally came out our last week being hiatus since Alan's on vacation. I just took some time to do some stuff. So we're back. And the biggest thing, which I think they did it right by starting off opening night with Yankees and Nationals.
Yeah, why not?
It's kick it off 7 o'clock on ESPN. Then right after, there's another game with Giants at Dodgers at 10. So there's only 2 games opening night Thursday.
And both those games would be games that I would be interested in watching. Yeah. It's not like some random teams. I'm like, I don't care about these two guys. Those are good teams.
Yeah. And the next day, everyone else starting at 4 o'clock is Braves at the Mets on ESPN. Then you have Tigers at Reds, Blue Jays at Rays, Brewers at Cubs, Marlins at Phillies, Royals at Indians, Orioles at Red Sox. And then the first game in Rangers' new stadium is Rockies at Rangers at 8 o'clock. Then you have Twins, White Sox, Pirates, Cardinals, Mariners, Astros, Diamondbacks, Padres, Giants, and Dodgers. And then an Angels at A's is the last game on ESPN that day at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. We're less than 10 days away. I mean, we're the 23rd, right? And
yeah,
it's coming. I can't wait.
I know. So, best matchup starting, you pick it out is, of course, the Yankees, the Nationals. They'll finally get to raise the banner. They already got their rings already this week since they're pretty much at training camp or summer camp, as they've been calling it. Of course, the Rangers' new stadium at Globe Life Field the next day. Angels and A's that week. Of course, that means Sunday there's a possibility that Shohei Ohtani will be pitching for the first time in 23 months.
Oh, wow. I can't believe it's been that long.
Right? His first game since September 2nd, 2018 on the mound.
I can't wait to see a full year with that guy doing his thing.
Yeah. So we get a little sample this year, so he will go at least once a week, which John Madden said. And then I was surprised that they kept the Field of Dreams game, but they changed the opponent.
Okay.
So it was supposed to be White Sox and Yankees.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Cardinals at White Sox.
Cardinals and White Sox.
So that is now August 13th, the Field of Dreams game.
All right.
And then Dodgers at Angels, August 14th through 16th is a big series where you got 5 MVPs that have won 9 of its awards. Mike Trout, Pujols, Bellinger, Mookie Betts, and Clayton all in the same series. And then the last matchup I think I had, they're going to do honor the 100 year of the Negro Leagues on August 16th. Madison Bumgarner gets a chance to face the Giants in August back in San Francisco.
That'll be one to watch.
They changed Jackie Robinson Day to August 28th, which is really the March of Washington in 1963 for the color barrier.
Okay.
White Sox at Pirates in September is going to be a Robert Clemente Day to celebrate across MLB. And then this one, I bet fans wish.
Okay.
Astros at Dodgers, September 12th and 13th. Will there be fans in the stands?
In
for
September?
that one? Yeah.
At the rate things are going, I'm going to say no. Florida's jumping out the window, even here at home.
Just think about with the scandal coming out, Dodger fans, Astros coming to town, man. Whew.
Yeah, that would be something to be interested in. When did the Astros play their first game? Did you say who it was?
They are at, I think they're at somewhere, right? No, they host the Mariners. At 9 o'clock.
Okay, so I don't really see the Mariners throwing at any of these guys.
No.
But it's going to happen.
It's going to be that first, team. It's got,
All right. So. Well, now that we got some games in front of us, who has the hardest schedule this year?
So there was 3 big teams that stuck out to me. One is Toronto Blue Jays.
Right. The Blue Jays are already in a tough division, and now you're throwing them into the NL East, which isn't no slump either.
So they played 46 of their 60 games against teams that finished 500 or better last year, with 20, of course, with the Yankees and Rays. And their desire to hot start is not looking good, too, because based on their win percentage against opponents, they had the 3rd hardest schedule through August 6th. That's the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
That's tough. And the next is, unfortunately, our New York Mets.
Look, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
So just like the Blue Jays, Mets would not have much postseason shot if they were in another division, but because half their games come from teams that made the playoffs last year. The first 2 weeks combined for a 571 win percentage last season, giving the Mets the most difficult schedule in baseball through August 6th. It doesn't get much better down the stretch. The final 10 games comes against the Braves, 3 games, Rays, 3 games, and Nationals, 4 games. 3 playoff contenders with among the best pitching staff in baseball.
Right, and speaking of pitching staff, I saw a stat that like MLB.com had that ranked their best pitching rotations this year, and in the top 10 were the Yankees, the Mets, and the Nationals.
Nationals were 1, then it was like...
Mets were like 8,
The one that shocked me was the Reds.
Yeah.
I was like, I understand, like they're not proven, but okay. And Cleveland, even though they traded 2 pitchers away, they're still in the top 10. It's shocking.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hearsay now. I mean, we'll find out when the season gets started. But to have that as a preseason and to think that this division, like you said, the toughest schedules you have somebody from the AL East and the NL East.
Yeah.
And it's just that whole era.
Yeah, right when we heard that they're going to stick to regional, I'm like, well, our division just came in even harder.
Exactly.
I was like, because you broke it down, 2 of the final 8 teams from the AL was in that division. 2 of ours were in the final 8 of the playoffs. It's like, man, we're about to have a rough.
But that's good though, because whatever teams come out of there are going to be ready for the postseason.
And then 4 of the teams, really, Texas Rangers, their schedule is not hard at the beginning, but it's their travel schedule. They have the most miles that they're going to be traveling this season with 14,000 miles. Breaking down, so September 15th, the Rangers play a 3-game series against the Astros in Houston, which is Central Time. From there, they log more than 1,500 miles from Houston to Anaheim to play 4 games against the Angels in Pacific Time. Then before a quick 2-game set in Phoenix with the Diamondbacks, because Arizona does not abide by the daylight savings time, their games will be played under Mountain Standard Time. Lastly, then they fly to Arlington and Central Time for the final 4 games against the Astros.
Okay.
And then, unfortunately, the 3 worst records by win percentage of the opponents is Angels, and then the 2 worst teams in baseball last year are arguably the Marlins and Orioles. Because, yet they face in the 2 divisions that are going to be the hardest. Easiest schedules is kind of some familiar names that we think that could do it this year. Twins have the best, easiest schedule for opponents. Then it goes Indians, Cardinals, White Sox, Dodgers, and Rays.
Oh, great. Give the Dodgers an easy schedule, why don't you?
Right? So it's very interesting. Like, when they broke it down, like, okay. And then when I saw the Mets schedule down the stretch, the Braves, Rays, and Nationals, I'm like, they would do that to us.
Yeah, man, but the same thing I'm thinking, though, is, like we said, it's a sprint this year, so who knows how these teams are going to act when they barely have any days to rest.
Yeah, like, they're really, like, I printed the schedule. I'll show it to you after we record this. It's weird seeing next year's schedule and then this year's schedule. Like, God, where's half the paper?
It's like a sample.
It is. Like, look at these 2 papers. So, and the funny thing is MLB has a challenge for opening day.
Yeah, I like it, man. I'm definitely going to be part of this challenge. What's
up? 15 games over 2 days. You pick, and I guess who has the best record is going to get $100,000. That's
amazing.
And remember, don't forget to do your picks for your century.
Are they starting it over? Or something?
Since there's no games yet, you can still put your time in. I saw it the other day.
Ah, man, who's going to keep track of that, man?
This season is going to be even harder to pick now, if you think about it. Like, you thought about how many. So,
if you, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, so now that we went about the challenge on opening day, the MLB has released their 2021 schedule.
Yeah, usually you get that in like August. So I guess since they have downtime, they go ahead and
they might as well knock it
out
because they're going to have more things to worry about when the season actually starts.
Yeah. So the game plan is April 1st, opening day in 2021, is actually going to be, if I remember correctly, which is begin the 30 minutes. All 30 teams are going to play that Thursday.
Okay.
So not like some played that Thursday, some played that Friday.
So everyone's
going to be playing Thursday. So this will be the first time. I remember seeing the year. It was like since 1968, where all teams are going to be playing on the same day. So there'll be 10 divisional matchups along with 15 games, and then additional is going to be interleague with like Tampa Bay at Miami, Twins at Milwaukee, Giants at Seattle, and then 6 games are scheduled Friday. The full slate will be played on Saturday and Sunday with 13 contests.
Okay.
Interleague, they changed it up this year, kind of pretty much what they did this year. Interleague is going to be regional defined. So, of course, AL East will play NL East, Central, so on. And the biggest thing I think that I liked what they did was with New York Mets and Yankees. It's going to be the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Yankees are going to be playing in New York at Mets.
Okay.
On September 11th, the latest they've ever played each other.
Well, it sounds like you need to get Mike Piazza over there.
Oh, he's got to be throwing out the first pitch. Pitch that day.
I'm saying.
So,
who else?
and then of course they play July 4th.
Okay, nice.
At Yankees.
Okay,
so
that's fair.
Couple other ones. Let's see other highlights of the schedule. Dodgers will begin their home schedule with 3 games against the Washington Nationals on April 9th and 11th. Braves will host the Cardinals on Father's Day weekend, rematch of their division series last year. Of course, the All-Star game next year is going to be in Atlanta for the first time since 2000. Final game of the regular season is going to be October 3rd with 12 division games. So...
Atlanta, huh?
Yep.
I wonder if we can make it.
It's not that far a drive. Like, check it out.
Our best would have been going to DC.
Yeah, and unfortunately, so. But yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting schedule. We'll see if nothing changes, which I don't think we'll see. You know, who knows? It's too far ahead, but
yeah, we're not gonna worry about that till we get there. We're focusing on this 60-game season right now.
Yeah. So first thing first, we got to talk about since we've been gone. Last time we talked, there's 4 players who opted out. Excuse me. That decided not to want to play this season. Well, the list has grown, of course, over the last pretty much 2 weeks.
Yeah, a couple of big names have been thrown out there.
Yeah. So first thing first, I have David Price from the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, I was like, after that trade, I was like,
That's a big hit for them because that's a key player. So that's something to look out for alone, right there.
Yeah. So the next one is Tyson Ross of the Giants.
Okay.
Of course, Joe Ross is the brother who declined playing for the Nationals. So Felix Hernandez of the Braves, trying to get a comeback story, he decided to opt out. Then we have Nick Markakis of the Braves.
A lot of back-to-back Braves right there. That's not good.
Buster Posey of the Giants, which is a nice story why he did.
Yeah.
Michael Kopech of the White Sox, which is very shocking.
Yes, and not only did Kopech say he's not playing, the managers are actually worried about him.
Yeah, some about depression and stuff going on. They're worried about him.
Yeah, so that's another story that we're going to have to keep an eye on and see what's going on with him.
Especially because, after Tommy John and everything, he thought he was going to be ready. They're like, this guy, high potential. They thought this could be the year, and then so he decides to walk away.
Especially with the team he's on. Like you and I have both been praising the White Sox for how good they could be.
Pitching staff, and they drafted nothing but pitching again this year.
Exactly.
And then last was another pitcher, which was as of yesterday, is Jordan Hicks of the Cardinals. Of course, he had Tommy John, so he missed last season. So everyone's expecting him back this year, but he opts out because of his health concerns.
Okay.
So it's nothing real big and shocking. We knew this was going to eventually come. Now, certain of these players are going to give shots to other players, like Posey. Mm-hmm. You have the top prospects. You took 2 catchers back to back. Is it time to maybe give your top prospect a chance?
Right, and with all these pitchers, like you said, all these players, some of these key players, like Posey might not be a key player right now because he is starting to get over there.
Yeah.
I would transfer him to first base eventually, if not already.
Majority of these people have been pitchers.
That's what I'm saying. The pitchers, and that's good because these prospects can get up there and show what they got. Or if you're in a good situation like the Mets are, we lost a pitcher, but guess what? We had a 6th spot anyway. So
yeah, we had someone fighting for it.
Exactly.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of players and opting out, what about these positive COVID players? These players have been testing positive.
So, of course, they didn't have to tell people who's positive.
I thought they weren't going to tell people. That was my impression. They weren't. They were going to keep it secret.
Yeah, like there's the big question with Mets is Robinson Cano finally showed up to practice today. He hasn't been there for the last week and a half. Was he positive? But they haven't said anything. So
right.
I guess it's on a team-by-team or a player basis. Like, yeah, sure, go ahead and tell them kind of thing. So starting with, I have it broke down by team and because there's not just a couple players. So Arizona, you had Junior Guerrera and Savino Blanco tested positive. Was told by reporters on July 5th. 3 days later, another player from their team tested positive. Atlanta Braves have 4 players that tested positive.
Man, the Braves are getting beat up so far.
The biggest one is Freddie Freeman.
Yes, Freddie Freeman.
Which he has a fever. It's going to be a while before he can rejoin the team, so he most likely will miss the start of the season.
And in my opinion, he's probably, the Braves are so good, but he's definitely one of the best players on the team.
Yeah.
I would put him ahead of Bryce Harper right now, but I don't know about Acuna Jr. They got great players.
Yeah.
But they can't afford to miss Freeman.
No.
He's a power hitter that they need.
Your first baseman, your core, your guy, infielder Pete Kozma, right-handed pitcher, Puig, Toussaint, and then Will Smith. So they had 4 players.
Okay.
Red Sox have was it 1, 2, 3 players? No, 4 players. No one big name. Looks like they're all prospects and pitchers. Cubs, they said 2 staff members, but no players so far. So I'm like, that's a good thing. White Sox have 2 players tested positive. Both players are isolated away from the team. No names. Rockies, Charlie Blackmon.
Blackmon, yes.
That was the big one for them. Kansas City Royals, Xavier Perez tested positive. And then Brad Keller and Ryan O'Hare tested positive as well for the Royals.
Oh, Salvador Perez is a pretty big loss right there.
Especially if missing last year. He's ready to prove, and then now this. So Angels had 2 players with mild symptoms, no names. Dodgers, their big one is, of course, just a couple days ago, Kelly Jansen reported that he tested positive. So Marlin has 4 positives, according to sources, but no identify at the time because they have the right to privacy. Milwaukee, Luis Reyes tested positive. Lefter Eric Lavu. So Lavu himself did not test positive, but must go through protocol because someone that he come in contacted. So Minnesota Twins, you got Nick Gordon, Edward Colon, and then, of course, Miguel Sano. That was the big one for them. Mets said they have 1 player tested positive, but no unnamed, of course, which I think could have been Robinson Cano.
Could have been.
So Yankees have 2 as of right now. Actually, no, 3 because Chapman just got positive news. So, and then LeMahieu is the other big name for them. Oakland, they have 2 players. Phillies, of course, before all this happened, they have 7 players and 5 staff members tested positive before all this. Pirates, they had 2 players. Cardinals had 2 players. Padres, their outfitter Tommy Palm tested positive, and then 2 other players. Giants have 2 individuals that tested positive, and of course, last year's first-round pick also tested positive, Hunter Bishop. And then we have Seattle. There's more than 1 player that has been shut down. Joey Gallo, the Texas Rangers, tested positive. And, of course, 2 national players that test positive. And then Juan Soto has been isolated because he was in contact with one of those players. And then, of course, Zimmerman and Ross opted out.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is we haven't even started yet. And this many players are testing positive. What happens when we start getting into it and they get more and more people together?
The first thing that really interesting is today, or was it yesterday, Clint Frazier of the Yankees said he's going to wear a mask at a bat.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people talking about that.
Because everyone was like wondering, and the whole NFL thing I thought was hilarious was swapping jerseys. They can hit each other and everything, but
But
can't swap jerseys. Like, okay.
Right.
But it is a question, like, should you wear a mask at the bat? Because you are close to the ump and to the catcher. So but then you're on base. So it's
yeah. Well, my thing is, I saw somebody else had a video, and this is making me think of this. Is that they were? I think it might have been at Boston or one of the stadiums. They were putting locker rooms in
Boston in the suites. Makes perfect sense. I love that.
It does. And because my thing is, these guys are going to be together. They're going to be. Are they going to separate them on the buses? Are they going to take more buses? Mm-hmm. Or how are they going to do this? But when I'm thinking in the locker room, everybody's right there.
Yeah.
So if you're putting people in the suites and different locker rooms, that's fine.
Yeah. Red Sox did 2 per suite.
They got to do something like this.
And, of course, like Mets announced today that their second location for summer camp is Brooklyn. So they sent some of the players, the minor league.
Cyclones play.
Yeah, to their camp there. So they're starting to separate them more now since we are about 10 days away.
But that's my thing is that they're going to have separation to this whole thing, and it's not going to work the best in the dugout. So it's something to keep an eye on because this season could get shut down just as quickly as it got started.
Yeah, it's going to be a big test. Like, we'll find out definitely the next week, especially like after Yankees and Mets play. We'll see how that goes, see how it's acting.
Exactly.
Because it is going to be on SNY, both games, so we can watch it from there to see. I haven't really heard of any other teams scheduling yet. So they're allowed 3 games, so it makes sense for them to play 2.
All I'm saying is if this is a good test for the other sports, too, because if baseball can't make it happen, There's no way the NFL is going to get through that.
Soccer's doing it, but they have some weird time schedule.
Well,
And apparently everyone's loving the NBA because they took the weekend off and went golfing and all that stuff. But, of course, they've been breaking the bubble as food getting delivered and stuff.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, they've been playing baseball in South Korea in their KBO, and they've been doing fine.
Yeah.
But for some reason here in the States, man, it's not the same story.
Yeah, definitely. It's uptick, and other countries are worried. So it's interesting. So next thing, some injuries in MLB. We got last couple of days, some big names. Like one is one of your players that you like, Christian Walker, apparently hurt his groin. He's questionable for the start of season. Cole Hamels, his triceps, is questionable for the start of season. Richie Martin apparently broke his wrist, so he's definitely out for the season. Rizzo is questionable for his back. And then Byron Buxton, something happened during practice yesterday. He was tracking on the ball, and they're saying his foot, so he's questionable. And then Aaron Judge still thought maybe he was ready to go, maybe for these games this weekend. And he apparently hasn't really been swinging too much. And now he has a stiff back to go along with the cracked ribs.
Yeah, it's not a good combination.
So it's like, what's going on with your star player?
So not only do your ribs crack, your back hurts, you can't cheat this year. That's going to be bad for Judge.
Yeah. It's very, So, but, he has we said 10 days. We'll see if maybe he plays one of the games this weekend. It's Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
I bet they're going to try to hope to get him out there to see how he reacts, how he feels, at least for an inning or two, or who knows.
All right. Well, on to other news. So apparently the Blue Jays cannot leave the hotel.
So the biggest thing before, summer camp started, we thought that Blue Jays were going to have to go to Buffalo for practice because they did not open up the fly into Canada yet until I think it was 2 days before the season's supposed to start. So, okay, they're going to Buffalo. Well, they got to go to Toronto, but they have a hard bubble. Of course, if you don't know that Toronto Stadium is attached to a Marriott hotel. Okay. So only allowed to be at that hotel and then down for practice.
Which isn't the worst thing in the world.
It's not.
Where else are you going to go? I mean,
so the biggest thing, I guess, is because what they were told is pretty much you got to come into the country. You're under 2 weeks quarantine. Okay, it's fine. For 2 weeks, we'll be 14 days in our hotel. Sure. But now it's coming out that if you leave the hotel or the stadium, you're facing a $750,000 fine.
Yeah, that's nuts. Man.
Yeah, so the new Blue Jays first baseman, Travis Shaw, who was signed a free agent, was the first to reply to some tweets that, of course, was later deleted. We were told 2 weeks, not all summer is a little bit, he tweeted. All summer isn't going to happen. That's not my opinion. But of course, now with the U.S. having almost 60,000 new cases a day and Canada only roughly having 300, this could be a big issue for MLB and Canada evolving the teams going in to Toronto. So now there is a possibility where Blue Jays are going to have to maybe play in Buffalo.
And I would think so, because especially if you have to go cross border to play in Canada, and what if they're doing a testing, if your temperature is running too hot, and then we can do if half your guys can't get in for some stupid reason like that.
So if you follow by what they're saying is every time they come back into town, they have to be quarantined for 14 days.
Right.
So they're stuck at the hotel.
Exactly. What do you? How can you do? What are you going to do in that situation?
Yeah, but like I said, with the glowing ticket of cases here in America, it's Canada's probably if we were close, doing the 300 a day each, they're probably okay, yeah, let's make this work. But now it's getting interesting.
Well, if the Blue Jays aren't able to play in their stadium, then I'm going to say they have a tough schedule already because they have a disadvantage. They're not playing at home. They're playing at some place. It's a random site. Might as well be
the AAA site. Yeah, and they're not going to have the lights like it is.
Not the same feel at all.
The dugout and everything.
Disadvantage, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But anyways, so not only that, the Blue Jays also are going to do something this year. They're going to be honoring Tony Fernandez.
Yeah, all we know, earlier this year, he passed away at the age of 47. He was a member of the Blue Jays, level excellent, 5-time All-Star, nearly 1,500 games with the team over 4 different stints between 1979 and 2001. The CEO of the Blue Jays said there's a few players in the game that can impact a team and a fan base the way Tony did for Toronto. Beyond his impressive career numbers, achievements, accolades, Tony reconnaissed with baseball fans because of how he played the game and connected with his teammates. To wear a patch in memory is to honor exceptional life on the behalf of the Blue Jays fans across the country. And of course, they're going to wear the number 1 in honor for him that looks just like Blue Jays' original style fronts inside a black circle. So it's just perhaps the stint with the team is so a nice touch.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So I'm glad they did something for him. All right, next thing we were going to talk about, should Puig sign with the Orioles? But of course, different news has happened. Puig has signed with the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, today I got notification that Puig signed with the Braves, and it makes sense based on the players who are currently injured or have opted out for the Braves. I mean, who was the outfielder they lost? Markakis, exactly. So now you need another one. It's fine. Puig is probably the best option, especially if you're on a team like the Braves. The Braves are trying to win. They need to replace elite players with elite players. Not saying Puig is still elite, but he could be. He batted .269 last year between two teams, I believe.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but he was a pretty decent.
But based on his track record, I think he has what it takes to fill in for the spot, assuming his attitude's okay.
Let's see. And no details, of course, yet. And it's got to be weird because, with the percentage, like, how do you negotiate actually with how much it's going to be? Or, like, this is what we would have paid you, but with, the rate, this is what you're going to get.
I'm thinking he might not have had too many other offers, and he wants to play baseball. He wants to get back in it. He's got to get...
And I think he want to play for a contender because,
exactly.
Here we heard Miami, we heard Orioles, which Orioles makes sense because are missing 2 of their outfilders, and then they're also missing Trey.
It doesn't make sense if the Orioles don't think they can contend. Why go out and spend money on somebody if you're not going to utilize it?
Yeah, he batted .267 last year, 24 home runs, 84 RBIs. So, not bad, but it's like, I wonder what he was asking for, why he didn't get enough contraction. And of course, other teams were interested in him. I think like White Sox, Rockies were interested in him back in February. So, but Braves came in and got another player.
Yeah, I mean, great arm.
Yeah,
great arm.
He can also even play DH.
He could, absolutely. But he's got to prove that he can still hit. .269 or .267, that's not going to get it done as DH.
Yeah, definitely.
But it could be in the National League because I saw earlier today on MLB Tonight or whatever this morning it was, they were talking about the disadvantages. They were saying basically from first base to shortstop or something like that, that distance is how much better the AL is over the NL and DHs or something. But they also noted that the Mets are one of the teams that have a good spot for a DH with Cespedes.
Yeah, well, we might as well get into what NL teams have the best DH option.
There you go.
So the first one is definitely the Dodgers.
Obviously.
Because how much talent they had, it's always been that who's going to play when. Like, okay, Munchie's going to play here. No, he's going to play here today. Now it's like, now you have an extra slot where you put a pitcher. Instead of a pitcher, you have a hitter.
Exactly. So you don't have to care too much about who's playing on the field. As long as the person's getting their at-bats, they'll be okay.
Yeah, so Hernandez is roughly going to be the projected DH, but of course, like we said, with Chris Taylor, AJ Pollock, Jock Peterson, Mookie Betts, there's going to be a rotation in the outfield, so someone's going to have to get a bat here and there.
Yeah.
The next team, definitely the Nationals, as we saw last year in the World Series, is Howie Kendrick.
Right, and I thought the Nationals would have been even stronger with Zimmerman as a DH as well, but he's not playing this year, so that's not an option. But they still have talent that they can pull from. Yeah, because you
think Eric, Thymes, Starlin Castro, Zimmerman would have been, Cabrera. So you had options, but, with Howie Kendrick did in that DH position when he was in Houston.
Yeah. So
he's definitely still has the bat to do it. So it's definitely a good chance with him. And then Reds. So before the season, when they signed Nick Castellanos, we're like, okay, they have 4 outfielders now.
Exactly.
What are they going to do? Like, who's going to be? And then now we have a DH. So most likely Jesse Winker is going to be the guy they believe is going to be the everyday, most of the days DH.
Okay. I mean, it's a good problem to have. I mean, beginning of the season, yes, you have a decision to make. Now, everybody can be happy because they're going to get their bats.
Yeah, so the teams who had like problems, like who's going to play this position this day, we're going to have to rotate. Now it's like, oh, we have a position where someone can hit.
Exactly.
So that one worked out for him. The next one also is our New York Mets. So before all this week, it looked like Don Smith was finally going to have a regular at-bat. Like,
yeah.
Okay, finally he's going to have a chance and stuff. But this week has showed that apparently Cespedes is ready.
And Cespedes ain't playing. I don't know if you got to see him taking BP, but Cespedes is out there raking.
So it's like, because he's taking Seth Lugo, which are one of the best relievers, closers last year.
Absolutely.
Took him deep in a simulated game.
Yeah. And also, he's trying to play on the field. He's not trying to be DH.
Yeah.
He's out here making behind-the-back catches.
Like having fun. I'm like, okay, Cespedes, are you 15 Cespedes?
Right.
So if that's the case, a lot of teams are probably scared
If
right now.
that's the case, I'm going to go get my lime green or yellow armband.
Right? So, but with Dom Smith, you have also J.D. Davis. They can rotate at left field. Cardinals, Matt Carpenter most likely will be the everyday DH. They have some other options they can do. With like Tommy Edman at third base and Tyler O'Neill in left field.
Well, it's good to have more than one option because if the guy is getting in the cold streak, you got to get somebody else in there.
The next one is the Cubs. They got most likely everyone's thinking that Kyle Schwarber will be the DH.
Yeah, I would
Do
assume
you
so.
keep him in the outfield? Do you keep more in DH? It's that question they got to figure out before the start of the season. And everyone thinks Schwarber will be the DH.
Right, and then and then somebody needs a day off, he can fill in the outfield.
Yeah. And then now with the Braves, now we have Puig signing. Ozuna was most likely everyone's thinking that will be the DH. 1 year deal. He had some decent numbers last year with the Cardinals. So now it's like, is it going to be Ozuna and Puig rotating? Like,
I don't think so, man. I think Ozuna's still going to be the guy because Puig's got the arm.
Yeah.
The arm that I would want.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as he's still got it, I mean, he's going to gun people out. That's what you need. You need somebody out there to make plays and assists.
Yeah, then because they had it with signing Ozuna, they're like, okay, they have a top prospect ready to come up. Now you're at Ozuna, same thing. But like I said, Markakis now is left.
Yep.
That's probably where Puig is now slid in. So Rockies is next. Most likely DH, they believe it's going to be Daniel Murphy.
And I would say the same, yes. I don't know if Murphy's the greatest in the field anymore.
Yeah.
He can still hit. I don't know if he can crush for power, but he'll get the job done.
Yeah, so and then Phillies, most likely everyone's believe it's going to be mostly Jay Bruce.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Bruce has a perfect spot
Because he's
for him.
being blocked between, Harper and then McCutchen on the other side.
Right, and, hold on now. Yeah, well, who's their first baseman?
Hopkins.
Okay, Reese?
yeah.
Yeah, he's not taking over that.
But
so you're right.
Jay is probably going to do mostly where if it's, left-handed bat situation, he'll probably be that day. They'll probably switch. They have other bats and stuff they can rotate. So
Okay, well, even if it's not a lefty, he's still got to get some PT, some playing time, because he's the guy you can't keep out of the lineup.
yeah. So
They'll figure it out.
they definitely will. So that's 10 teams. I like a lot of the teams. Like it opens so much possibilities. And in the future, if this becomes set, which a lot of people are hearing, this is going to change the game. Which comes to contracts, like.
Yeah, man, it was funny because, like I said earlier, I was watching MLB today or whatever it was, and Al Leiter was up there, and he was all upset about the DH because he's like, if I was a pitcher, I would want to face a pitcher. Of course you would, because it's an easy out. You're right. I mean,
Unless you fish in Bulgarm or
right, or somebody like that who can crush it, but. Like you said, man, I know a lot of people are against it, a lot of people are for it. I was originally against it as well, but I see it. I see why it's a thing and why they're going toward it. And if they're trying to get more interesting and have more exciting ball games, you got to have another hitter in there. You can't have 8 hitters and an out.
right. And because
There's not enough pitchers that crush
a bunt,
Yeah.
a maybe easy out, strike out real quick. Like no one's interested. Like okay, it's the pitcher. Who cares?
Yeah, when the pitcher comes at the bat, it's like, all right, well, this inning's over. Let's go get some lunch or
Yeah.
something like that. Now you have another contender there. That changes the game for your leadoff batters, everybody else.
Everything, the whole rotation. Because someone put up the Mets starting rotation. I'm like, wow, it looks weird because then so and so can bat ninth now. It's like said DH could be up there. It's like this is gonna change some interesting. Opening days will be interesting, especially when when we see it. For example, opening night with the Nationals, where you see that pitcher spot number 9. It's like, oh no, it's gonna be someone else.
Well, you did say it was an interleague game, though. They're playing in Nationals.
They're
Stadium?
at Nationals,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's the only thing that I would miss is seeing the interleague games where the AL pitchers have to hit.
yeah, the word I haven't done this since how long?
Exactly. That's the part I would miss.
So, but hey, we'll see. We'll have to get used to it if this is a thing. So, next thing is, with 60 games, the limited schedule, records are, not going to really be broken because, home runs, you will worry about it and stuff like hits, strikeouts. But there's one record that we might be able to see is literally of someone batting over 400.
Yeah, and I absolutely think that's obtainable. I mean, there's guys who finished the season last year batting damn near, 340 or something? I mean,
so I had 3 players in mind.
Okay.
One is the AL batting title last year, Tim Anderson of the White Sox. He batted 335 last year. So he batted 359 in his final 258 at-bats of the season.
Okay.
He could have easily 10 more hits. He would have batted about 400.
Okay.
So, smaller sample size, very interesting. McNeil of the Mets.
Yes.
Great hitter.
Yes.
He batted .344 in his first 82 games of last season. At Game 72, he exceeded the 254 plate appearance threshold that marked was up to .351 he was batting. So definitely a strong possibility. If he had 17 more hits by the 82 game that he hit, he would have been 400. So that's a possibility. And then the next one is reigning MVP Cora Bellinger that was batting .404 until May 21st.
Yeah, man. If anybody can do it, Cody Bellinger definitely can. I think I like your three-year solid, but I think with such a short game,
It
could be anyone.
Like
yes,
Mike Trout.
Somebody who can get hot, who bats around 300. They can get hot for a little bit, and you never know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody we weren't thinking of came out out of nowhere and said, "Hey, here's my 400 season."
Yeah, and of course, the closest has been Tony Gwynn, the 94 shortened season. Others have gotten in the high 300s. So, but this one is going to be a chance. We might have multiples. You never know.
Exactly.
Like, it could be that race. Like, okay, the NL batting title is like, ooh, this is close, and it's almost 400. It could be very interesting. So, but the point record, shortened season, some people might put an asterisk next to it, but still, it's a fact. It's going to happen, just like anything else.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of record like that's broken with a shortened season, or probably somebody there's not going to. They're like, oh, well, he did it in 60 games. That's only a third of what you're normally playing, or something.
Yeah, so if we add what his average was,
right,
plus the many games.
But the one thing I'm telling you out there, don't put an asterisk next to the champion, because everybody has the same amount of games. You still have to get it done in this amount of time. So whoever wins this year, you earned it.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. What do you guys think? You guys think we're going to have a guy hitting 400 this season? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. So next thing, I guess, what's going to be like celebrating?
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because we were talking about quarantining and separating the lockers and this and that. I was thinking, what happens when the Astros get hit so much that they're trying to fight now? Now what happens? Are we going to clear the benches? Yeah. I don't know. So, yes, what happens with celebrating? Going to be a lot of air fives.
Like no fans. You can't pump up the noise at your home stadium.
Somebody's going to be pumping up the noise. I saw something earlier. I don't know if it's the Twins or somebody. Some of these stadiums are going to be pumping crowd noise in there during the game.
It wouldn't surprise me. And then it's so what's going to be the moments like home runs, walk-offs?
I don't know, man. I think you get a lot of cheers from the dugout, maybe some bat flips.
That's it. Could the games from KBO start some bat flip movement?
I hope so, because I really enjoyed the bat flips in the KBO, as you guys seen in our previous video. Shameless plug right there. But I do think that they should do something exciting, because what else are you going to do? Oh, I hit a home run. Cool. Run around like you've been there before. No, because you don't have anybody in there hyping you up. You got to hype yourself up. The teammates got to get into it. You got to throw the bat into center field. I don't know what you got to do.
Yeah, there's rumor that some people are hearing that there are certain players planning dances and stuff to go on camera so fans can watch at home and celebrate.
Hold on. This sounds like basketball. Is that what we're going to do?
So, yeah, they said it could be some dances, and then you think of something. Yeah, they have 10 days before games start. So I think the most interesting thing will be this weekend, like we said, the Yankees and Mets, scrimmage game is to watch if something happens, like a home run.
They're not. I think they're going to save it for the real season. I don't know if they're going to do it for a scrimmage.
I just want to what's going to sound like, because mostly if you watch the KBO games, it's mostly the commentators just talking through the whole thing.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking when they hit a home run, this might sound like a golf hit.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
we see the highlights.
The
big scrimmage. Like, okay, the funniest thing was Luis Roberts from the White Sox. You see his home run the other day?
I don't think I did.
So he hit a home run and then fell down, tripped over himself at home plate, and then looked up and realized it went out. I was like, "Welcome to the MLB, to the majors, bro."
I don't think we'll see too much of that, but you're right. If they do some funny dancing or some shenanigans, that'll be bringing the fun back to baseball.
I think because what they did one similar, I think I saw was the Cubs. He ran down the dugout like.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, come on. Like, what else can you do with it?
Yeah, but that'd only be so fun for the first, couple of weeks. Then the guys aren't going to be celebrating like that every home run. Yeah. They could, but I think
they'll make gestures like when Mets did the salt grinder. Like, they'll do something.
Yeah, there you go.
Something to entertain themselves.
That's exactly what we should do.
So, and speaking of Mets, it finally has started the purchasing or the bidding to buy the Mets.
Yeah. Yeah, so we
first
actually
and
have
second rounds.
we actually have contenders. One contender is mysterious. Nobody we don't know. It's a random person or random group that they're not disclosing at this moment.
Yeah, some people are hearing this investment firms. Like some people are starting to hear.
But the other ones we're hearing are the same players from before, but it's getting more interesting.
Yeah. So first round there was 5 bidders, 2 unknown, and then 3 people we have known. Of course, the first one is the guy who was posted by the team in February and then fell apart, Steve Cohen.
Yeah, and I still like him in the running. I mean, he's got the money. He's willing to pay more now. I think he says he's willing to pay $2 billion for the team and $2 billion for the SNY.
Yes, apparently he has the largest offer from the first round is $2 billion for the team, $2 billion for SNY, even though SNY is technically not for sale in the deal. So, but he's willing to pay $4 billion to acquire the Mets and the SNY.
Right, and at this point, I cannot imagine anybody else offering much more than this guy's offering right now.
Yeah. So the next group is Josh Harris, along with his principal partner, Blackstone executive David Blitzer, who owns the 76ers and the Blue Jersey Devils. They're in their group. They're the next ones.
Right, and if anybody can own a team and know what to do with it, it's somebody who already owns a team in a different sport. Why not?
Yeah. And then Arod's group.
Arod's group has been getting very interesting lately. We've gotten some new players that added onto his group.
Yeah, so of course he was backed by Florida Panthers owner Vinny Vola and then Vitamin Water co-founder Mike Wappel, and their opening bid was $1.7 billion. But like you said, they have added players to their group.
Right, and not all these guys have a lot of money, though. I mean, one of the guys that they've added is Mason Plumlee. I mean, he's an NBA basketball player, but he's like a guy who's coming off the bench as a role player.
Yeah.
I mean, how much money does he have to invest?
Yeah. So, we have former players Brian Urlacher, DeMarco Murray, and Joe Thomas. Current Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce has joined the build, and like you said, and then NBA players Bradley Beal and then Mason Plumlee. Kelce commented that he said, "This is a crazy opportunity. I had a chance to meet Arod a couple years ago. He told me how much a fan I was as a kid of him. I was thankful for the success that I've had in the NFL. To an opportunity like this to come to my table, I couldn't think of a more unique set of people to change this."
I agree. I absolutely agree with that statement. This group is very unique, and I like it because they're all professionals, either past or current. And current is I wonder how that works. If you're a current player and owner, is there some kind of like I'm involved in this, and how can I be involved in that? I don't know.
So I guess separate sports. It's weird. Like, so how much it's actually how much they're approaching the team with, and so how much majority stake.
But based off of this, I'm thinking Kelce. Okay, what's his biggest contract? I'm not sure, $80 million or something or less.
Yeah,
right. He doesn't have a lot. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mason Plumlee, not a very big contract. Some of these other guys who
Bleal
retired.
just signed his big contract. Brian Urlacher.
He's had his money, but it wasn't a lot because
Yeah.
he's an older player. They weren't giving out these kind of contracts back then. So I'm just saying, how
They're
much money
small,
are they
probably.
exactly? How much are they bringing? And then, like you said, their first bid was 1.7. Well, guess what? Your guy over here, Cohen, has got $4 billion. That's a lot of billions to catch up to.
Yeah. So and then, like we said, there's 2 other unknown at the time of the first round. Well, today, second round bidding began with 4 other groups. So, of course, the main 3 that we talked about and 1 unknown. Mm-hmm. The investment bank, Allen and Company, who's overseeing the sales process, informed the groups of their status with the sale and also told them to submit their next round of bids and do not include a bid for SNY is not part of the deal. No information at this time on how much was offered in the second round. So but I'm almost saying like the report was a couple days ago I heard was, what is it? That Conan is most likely the favorite. He has the money.
Yeah, he has to be the favorite.
And the report is that if he gets the team, he's going to moneyball the hell out of it. And I got scared for a second. I'm like, moneyball? You're showing me you're cheap. No. If the player can help the team by statistics, he will pay whatever it is to get him on that team.
So we're following the Yankees game plan.
Kind of. He's ready to spin, apparently. He wants to win.
Well, look, man.
He's finally going to make the Mets a big market team like we've been saying for years. Should have been.
Right. That's fine with me. I mean, if the Mets can get 27 rings, I think we'll be all right.
So, but then there's a report is that not Fred, I think Jeff Wilpon, report is they said Cohen, they patched it out, they talked about it. I think that's why the deal he offered $4 billion for both, because he wants both. But heard as Jeff is still a little sour that he actually would rather take Arod's bid if it's close to the highest.
But it's not going to be close to the highest. And even if it was, you're leaving money on the table.
Yeah. I think with that coming out, I bet Cohen raises it even more.
I don't know,
like,
man.
Oh, it's close?
I don't know, man. In this situation, it's probably not as close. He's probably wanting it to seem close, so he wants Cohen to up the money. But I'm thinking right now, they're hurting for money. Everybody wants the Wilpons to sell the team. Not only that, we are in a time when baseball is scarce and we don't even know what's going to happen this year, and the money's not going to be right. So as far as I'm concerned, he can buy it at a discount. If I was him, I'd be like, oh yeah, $4 billion, and you're talking this crap. Here goes 3.7. I'm just saying, like the ball's in his court. These guys need to stop playing games.
And the biggest thing is, he has the money, like with all, like Arod's group. Like, yes, they can probably put the money together, but who's going to pay for certain stuff when it happens?
Exactly. Even if Arod's group can get the money together, based on the people that he's added to this group and based on what I think their pockets look like, if they buy the team, where are their reserves at? What are they going to do? How are they going to spend? You know what I'm saying? You're right. That's exactly my
coming out of this.
issue.
Who knows how much money they're going to lose?
You have just enough to get the team. You have nothing on the back end to keep supporting it.
Like, luckily the stadium's new, so you don't have to worry about building a new stadium anytime soon. But certain stuff, going to have to happen. And then who is in charge of that loan?
Exactly. And not only that, we're talking about money now. So not only do you have a little bit of money, you're not going to get SNY with this deal. So you're not going to get the rights to that profit right there.
Yeah. So before the whole coronavirus, the report is Mets were losing about $50 million a year.
They can't support that.
And that's with SNY. So you take SNY away, how much are they actually losing?
Right, because now you're relying solely on stuff that you can sell online at the store and people coming in, concessions, buying tickets, buying this, something at that. You got to get TV money.
Yes.
This has got to be common sense.
And that's where Dodgers, when that group bought them, they got the TV deal, $1 billion TV deal.
Right. You don't want to buy a team and leave something in the hands of somebody else you can't control. That does not make sense.
Yeah.
Cohen has the right idea. He wants everything Mets. He doesn't want half the Mets and leave the TV deal out there. He's got to get it all because that's the only way it's going to make sense because he knows how he's going to fix this.
Yeah, because I think if he has to wait it out, I think it's like 5 to 10 years SNY deal.
You can't do that. That's not a good way to go about it. Well, I think that's basically all the baseball news we have for now, but we do have.
Yeah, so the biggest interesting, it happened Monday. The Washington Redskins announced that they're going to change the name.
Exactly. So this could be baseball related, but yes, the Redskins have finally announced that they're going to change money, and it's hard to say, but it came from his investors putting pressure on him. It didn't come from him wanting to change name at all. I remember Dan Snyder a couple years ago saying he's never changed the name, no matter what. But FedEx, the CEO of that,
Nike,
Pepsi, they're a minority owner in the.
They own the stadium deal,
right? And they have the rights through 2027 of the naming rights, I think. And they're saying, they're putting pressure on Dan, so he's going to change the name of the Redskins. And the hard thing that the Redskins are running into is that there's a guy in Alexandria, Virginia, who's bought like 40 different patents on names that the Redskins have to play with, and that includes the Red Tails, the Warriors, and everything else that the fans have been liking so far.
Yeah,
he's trying to get paid, and it's smart.
I'm not mad about him.
I'm not mad at all.
He probably spent a couple $1,000 buying all the trademarks up, and probably gonna get a decent money.
And you know what's funny is a couple years back when the Redskins were talking about changing the name, because this is not the first time this has happened. There was somebody, it might have been the same guy, but there was somebody buying the same thing.
Yeah.
He was buying the name rights just in case they decided to go with it. And this guy's smart. Not only is he buying the rights to the name, he's actually getting products with the names on it and selling it. That way, in case they try to take him to court, he can say, look, I'm doing this. It's not like I'm just sitting on a name. I'm actually using it. So he's going to get paid.
Yeah, they're negotiating whatever they decide the name will be.
Unless they go with something straight off the wall, I can't imagine, because the names that I saw that he has patented are pretty close to what you're going to guess that they're going to name him.
They're going to be one of those names.
Like he did it all.
He is probably going to get paid anywhere hundreds of thousands of dollars to $1 million for one of those names.
I'm sure he's going to get more than that. This is the name of your franchise forever, basically.
Yeah.
Think about the last one. Last one lasted about 100 years. Mm-hmm. If you got 100 years in a name, this is your whole brand. This guy's going to get paid something fierce.
Yeah.
We're talking. I mean, we might not be talking about a Mahomes deal, but he's going to get something pretty solid.
And they need to do it soon because, like you're saying, I think 2 teams start training camp or start OTAs or something this weekend. So it's like, it's got to come out. We got to get jerseys, helmets, everything's designed. I'm pretty sure the design's done. They probably already picked the name. It's now the trademark issue. Now they have to negotiate, get done. So with this, there's a question of, should Braves and Indians follow the Redskins and change their name?
Right, and I know that the Braves have already said that they're not changing their nickname. No. They already said that it's actually honoring somebody. I don't remember the whole story. And the tomahawk chop, that was something that Deion Sanders actually brought and made popular from his alma mater. I don't think they're going to change the name.
No.
I don't think they should, to be honest, because think about it. Well, even with the Redskins, Dan Snyder was trying to say that this was honoring somebody, and the guy who was related to the person who actually drew the logo was upset that they're changing it as well.
Yeah.
But in today's day and age, everybody in America seems to be easily offended. It's sad, but it's true, because if you go into other countries, they're not going to care about you at all. They're not going to care about your feelings. But here, it seems to be a big deal.
Yeah. I didn't really until, I don't know how long ago, when they said some people were saying it was racist. I'm like, I've never heard anyone call someone a Redskin. And you think about it, it's got to be years and years and years ago. And they're like, oh, it's racist. I don't really feel, but if someone is, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying, though, is if you start changing the names, I get it. It's happening to Redskins. That's fine, whatever. But if you start doing this, everybody's going to be offended by any name you choose. Think about it. If you're saying the Redskins are racist, then you want to change the Indians' names. Well, if you're changing the Indians' names, well, then that means everything Indian-related, Blackhawks, Chiefs, whatever, they're going to have to change their names. And guess what? Nobody's going to really remember the Indians except for what they get taught in school, and that's going to be bare minimum. So there's going to be a forgotten thought because of this.
Yeah, no, I think Redskins should be the only one. I understand it. As a Redskin fan, it's going to be weird. I'm excited.
I get it.
Especially if it's the name I want. I want the Red Wolves.
That'd be cool.
I like the Red Tails, with the Tuskegee Airmen. The Warriors, I thought was going to be it, since Dan at one point owned the trademark, but then he let it go. Because he was about to use it for his arena team. So I thought, that's going to be the easiest. But then I found out he let it go. I was like, okay, well, then it's back to square one. It's just the more, especially when players have been talking about the Red Wolves, how, you can call those stadium the Den. The defense can be called the Wolf Pack.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, this is getting interesting. So we'll see what happens. And like we said, Braves and Indians should do nothing. So,
but like I said, yes, man, you let them change the name. Think about it. The Blue Devils, boom, you got to change the name. Any sports team name, you got to change it. And if you want to be a fierce competitor, your name says you're fierce. You keep changing it to make everybody happy, nobody offensive. We're not going to have good teams' names.
No.
We're going to be like the Washington Blue. I'm just saying, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, so I don't think they should do anything. I think, if anything, I think Braves, they might go away with the tomahawk chop, but that's not going to be an issue this year. There's going to be no fans, so
I don't think that's going to change, man. If you're a Braves fan, I don't see what else you going to do, man. That is intimidating alone. People come up there and you got the whole stadium doing that. It gets you excited. You get the goosebumps. That's good to have as a home team.
Yeah. So that is it for this week's episode. So, like we said, we have our first exhibition games next week. Actually, this week with Yankees and Mets. There's probably others going on throughout the next week, and then next week we're actually going to have the breakdowns, our picks, some awards, who we think might do this this short run. But it's going to be interesting when we break it down, who's going to win the division, playoffs, and who's going to be our, I don't know, early pick. It's going to be who's the fastest to the World Series.
Who's going to run away with it? Exactly.
Because, God, like you said, the first 2 weeks, that really no team has no time off. It's going to be 4 series back to back.
Whatever team can get in rhythm the quickest is going to make it happen.
Yeah, and whoever's the healthiest. So, but yeah, we'll see y'all next time. See ya.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. That's right. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. That's right. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record.